wildland, right? You can make the case that actually supporting those businesses actually prevent more suffering. And I think that's like a very good point and something I'm thinking about constantly, right? If that's what you're saying?
Just no.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah,
think
sure.
well, yes, this is what I'm saying, but you're making the case here that it would be valid if the farms take over the forests. No, that would not be an argument, because you see, the fact that the farms exist is independent from the fact that forests exist. The problem with the vegans is if their case is to reduce suffering.
I'm not talking on behalf of vegans, right? I don't even know if I'm considered a vegan. It depends on the definition.
Hmm.
I personally don't buy animal foods, though. That's apparent. And guess what? If it would seem to me that actually eating meat and stuff prevents more suffering than it causes, then I would do it. That's the point.
Well, I am telling you that if you are eating meat, the exact amount of animals that die is the animal that you eat the meat from. But if you are trying to eat,
I don't care
vegan
about that
diet,
per se,
if
right?
you're trying to eat vegan diet, of course you're not gonna eat just green leaves, because that is not what the human body is supposed to be consuming. You're gonna have to eat things like wheat and barley and rice and sugarcane and beets and papaya, and there's this particular fruit that the Europeans love these days. Uh, what's it called? Hey Sarah, what's that vegan hippie fruit that you guys love?
Vegan hippie fruit?
Yeah.
Jackfruit, dragon fruit,
Apples.
whatever.
No, I forgot the name. But anyways, the thing is, all
Bananas.
Mango.
Watermelons? Mango?
Mango.
no,
Melons.
not
What,
mango.
can you describe it?
It starts with a P and is green, like
Pineapple.
Peas?
guacamole, whatever. Just forget it.
Avocado?
Avocados.
Avocados, yeah, avocados. Yeah, these fruits.
Doesn't start with a P.
Well, fuck you. The thing is, these fruits and these vegetables, the cultivation of them is bound to cause more suffering because of the way that they're supposed to be cultivated
I
compared
don't eat
to
that,
what do you
by the
eat?
way.
You don't
I don't
eat
eat
meat?
avocados right now. I'm talking about avocado.
Well, I'm just making the hippie, sarcastic remarks in regards to avocado. The amount of suffering that goes into the production of avocado, more than 70% of that suffering is human life. Animals suffer only 30%. Avocados are basically capitalistic maneuvers that fucking destroy human families. But it fucking makes the capitalists rich, so nobody gives a fuck. Uh, but wheat, the amount of animals that die in the production of wheat, well, that's amazing, because you have to cut it every time, and the animals are gonna come back into the field every time, and then you have to kill them again, and then you have to do the whole plowing, and then you have to kill them again, and then you do the
Again,
seeding.
I made that distinction, right, between creating suffering for wild animals and breeding new animals. That's an important distinction.
Oh, the animals that you breed, they definitely have the least amount of suffering.
I
They
haven't
even
said they suffer more. I said that I don't know if I'm killing some rabbit in some. I mean, what if that rabbit reproduces and creates an insane amount of suffering for its offsprings? And if I kill it, I mean that wouldn't happen, right? But I don't know. Maybe that I don't know what will cause more suffering. That's the point.
Oh, the least amount of suffering that you can cause is if you kill yourself. Because if you kill yourself, only you die.
Yeah. That's a good. I mean, I obviously disagree because if I'm dead, I can't actually prevent suffering, right?
No, you exactly can, because that's that is the
Oh, well, of
one
course,
situation. That
I
is the
don't
one
cause suffering if I'm
situation.
dead. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't cause suffering if I'm dead. That's obvious. But I cannot prevent suffering. That's what I'm concerned with. I can't make arguments. I can't share my views on social media, right?
Mhm. So what you're trying to say is that you want to prevent suffering, and you want
In the
to
most
do it
efficient way possible until,
as efficiently
obviously.
You're gonna have, because the last time I checked, you were not God. Okay, so
Yeah, I don't claim to know. I don't claim to know what prevents the
you know,
most
no.
suffering. I'm just
The
trying to
thing
get
is,
with what I
you're
have.
gonna have you're gonna have to make a decision in regards to which kind of suffering you're gonna try to prevent,
Yeah, and
because
maybe my
you
decisions
can't do
suck.
more than one. You can't do more than one, because you are one person.
Yeah.
the, I also try to reduce suffering. The kind of suffering that I try to reduce is the financial suffering, because that's what I'm capable of doing,
Okay.
to the extent which I can. But if your argument is that by eating meat, you're reducing the amount of suffering caused to the
No, I haven't
animal.
made any claims. I'm not making any claims here.
Yeah, well, in that case, you don't have a position. You don't
I
even need
well,
you don't even need to stop eating meat, because you know what? The amount of suffering that you cause to yourself by preventing yourself a tasty steak is not guaranteed to
I'm
be.
eating plenty of tasty food.
But you're not eating steak. You're not
That's
eating
right.
burgers. Can you guarantee that the amount of suffering that you have to suffer by preventing yourself from eating that delicious piece of ham is going to be less than the death of a farm animal?
I wouldn't even go as far as to say that I'm creating any suffering. I enjoy every meal plenty that I have.
Yeah, but you don't enjoy the meals that have meat in them.
Leaves? I do. I make pasta with
Meat, meat
sour
in
cream.
them, meat in them. I said meat.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, it's like I don't miss it at all.
Mhm.
I have a very good relationship with food.
And you basically disown half of it.
This
How are you supposed to have a good relationship with food when you completely dismiss half of food, which is meat?
I mean, well, I eat tasty foods
Can
that
you
are
can you consider?
nutritionally adequate, right?
Did you consider the amount of suffering that a butcher has to go through by the fact that you are not buying meat from him?
What about the plant farmers?
What about the plant farmers? There is no such thing as a person who is going to just eat meat unless that particular person is crazy.
Again,
Everybody who
you
eats
mention
meat,
in such small parts. I'm talking about the totality, right?
if you're talking about the totality, then nothing that you say matters.
What do you mean?
Because suffering is going to exist. Any action that you take, any
I know.
action,
Yeah,
any action that you take is going to cause suffering.
yeah, I've acknowledged that. I'm just interested in trying to prevent the most amount that I can, right?
Yeah, and I told you that the best way to prevent suffering from your end is if you kill yourself.
Yeah, and I've responded, and I say I don't think so. I'm pretty sure staying alive and doing what I do would probably yield more fruit, so to say.
If by fruits you mean reduce the amount of
Yeah,
suffering
yeah,
that you,
preventing suffering. Yeah,
yeah, no, the very fact that you exist causes suffering to somebody else.
yeah, yeah, and I acknowledge that.
So
Let's say
how,
I live in I cause like suffering to one person, but I alleviate suffering to 100 people. Well, that doesn't that entail that staying alive is the preferable choice if I care about preventing suffering in the most efficient way?
when was the last time that you prevented suffering of anybody?
Yeah, I mean everything, that's a value that's in my head constantly, right? Everything I do, every choice I make, it's in my mind. I would like
No,
to
no, what
to
choice?
prevent.
I can tell you how I prevented suffering from
You
a
can, but
but
well,
can
what does
you?
it have to do with me?
No, you're saying it's not my aim. My life aim is not to prevent suffering. My life aim is to
Okay,
kill people. Okay, I'm
wait.
very
Your life
open about.
aim, kill people? What do you mean?
It's a personal thing. But
Okay,
when
actually, we don't have to get into that. I mean, you're here to question me. Okay.
but when you're saying that your life's aim is to prevent suffering, you
Yeah.
have to have done something in your life that prevented suffering from somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I can
Uh,
give examples if
yeah,
that's what you're asking. So,
yeah.
I don't breed animals into factory farms, right? I don't plan on procreating, right? Because I think that's like, my resources could go to, can be spent much more wisely. Um, what else? What else? I mean, that's like the two biggest things I can mention.
So
Yeah, and
basically,
another thing is supporting like people like scientists, YouTubers, activists that I think are productive.
how is that reducing suffering of anybody? You gave three examples. You said that uh, you are not going to procreate. So basically, you're saying that I'm not going to bear children who would have to suffer because life is suffering.
It's not wait, it's not just about their suffering. I mean, of course they will suffer, but that's not the main concern. The concern is all those thousands of dollars that will be spent on them, all that energy and time could be spent doing more productive stuff,
What
in my
is
opinion.
what is more productive than making human beings?
Well, the thing is, there's this. You can procreate your memes, so to say, through children, but you don't have to, right? We live in the era of the internet. We can persuade people just like that with a few clicks
No,
and
no, no.
make meme child,
You're
right?
you're talking about increasing production. Production has to be something of
Productivity.
value. Yeah,
No, no, not production.
productivity has to do with something of value. What is more valuable than a
I just
human
told
life?
you. I just told you.
I'm sorry, I might have missed
Yeah.
that.
It
What
seems
do
to
you?
me, in terms of value in preventing suffering, okay, we're talking about that. I think that not procreating would be more productive because the resources that would go to to raising them up, right, could be spent in more productive ways, such as I don't know, donating and shit.
No. In that particular scenario, what you are saying is that the existence of suffering holds more value than human life itself.
Oh, I have no intrinsic value towards like existence, right, to life itself.
If you do not have any intrinsic value towards life itself, then how
Yeah.
can you make an intrinsic value in
Oh, well,
regards to
I'll be clear.
suffering?
Hey, what's
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
guys? How you guys doing? Patty.
Hey, hey,
Who's
hey.
Patty?
Wait. So yeah, I'll clarify. I meant, it's not about the existence. It's about the experiences of those existing people, right? Or whatever.
Oh, okay. So basically, you are putting values to experiences. In that case, suffering is a negative experience. So therefore, there must be something that is a positive experience, right?
Well, yeah, I guess, pleasure is good, right?
Yeah.
I
The
guess I
fact,
would go with that. Yeah.
just let me tell you this: the most amount of positive experiences that any living being can experience are human beings.
Are you just
We
you making that claim?
we feel. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Human beings feel the most positive experiences.
I mean, in compared to like other species.
Yes. In compared to dogs, in compared to dolphins, in compared to elephants, in compared to that cat that you kick
Uh,
while you're
okay,
going to your
I don't
home.
share that view, but that's fine. You can claim that.
I don't need to claim that. That is something that's observable.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if humans feel
Why don't you?
pleasure more intensely. I don't know.
Why don't you know that? We are look at yourself right now. You're sitting
Okay.
on a fucking seat in front of a computer experiencing not bad things. You are not suffering, you're enjoying this conversation. And you
Yeah,
don't have to worry about
sure.
what are you gonna eat tomorrow. That is something that an animal does not have.
Obviously, we're not the same. Each species is different, right?
Yeah, and there is no such species unless we have domesticated them that can experience joy on the level that we can, because we have the resources to make that happen. So when you're saying that the coming of a human life reduces the overall uh, pleasure in the world, that is wrong.
Okay.
the the coming of an animal sentient life increases the amount of suffering much more likely compared to the existence of a human life, because we experience the most joy.
I'm sorry, but so far it's like I'm not. You're not really asking questions. It's like you're just making claims of your opinions or like how you see the world and stuff. It,
No,
I'm not
no,
sure.
I'm
Really.
Hey,
I'm
he's making baseless anecdotal claims.
I
what the fuck are
mean,
you?
look. I mean, it's
I'm
fine.
taking your
But
point. No, I'm taking your point, uh,
okay.
which you said about the experiences, because you said that you think you put the intrinsic value on suffering, which is a negative experience. So then I
Yeah.
explained to you how.
Not just suffering. I'm just talking about experiences, right? It's like pleasure as well, right?
Mhm. And your point was that human beings, it is, as human beings, it is better for new life to not come because it will
No, I
reduce.
haven't. I haven't even made that claim. I just say it seems more productive for me to do what I do, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. And you can persuade me. Otherwise, persuade me to eat meat. Persuade me to breed, to make children.
Well, that is what I
I'm
just
here.
did. I mean, I told you that your child will is more likely to experience the most amount of joy that
I
any
mean, I don't
human.
know. I don't know how my child will grow
That
up.
is the most likely situation.
And it's irrelevant because obviously the concern of the child is trivial compared to the totality of the resources that I can use it for, right? It's just
The
one individual. There are
the,
way more like him.
the totality is an increasing system. The amount of suffering is constantly increasing, but on the other hand, the amount of
What do you mean?
pleasure is also
Where does it increase on planet Earth?
on planet Earth,
How do you know that?
because more sentient beings are being born.
How do you know? I would say actually because we destroy, so to say, nature all the time. We probably the numbers of wild animals are probably dropped quite a lot. So I would actually say the contrary. It seems like we're kind of decreasing the amount of suffering that's taking place in any second, right?
So
Humans
basically, by
do.
destroying everything, we are. If you're in that scenario, the thing is, human beings are increasingly being born more. Wildlife, yes, wildlife is decreasing, but then again, the farmland, the domesticated life is increasing much more rapidly
Right.
compared to the decrease of the wildlife. And we have
Oh
established,
wait. Can you provide evidence for that?
yes, it takes a large amount of area in the wild for animals to exist compared to the farms. In a
Oh, so you're
farm,
saying
you can, yeah,
like we breed like an X amount of animals, but the wild animals just decrease over time. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it seems that that's the case at least.
Yeah. So basically, on the planet Earth, the lives are increasing. There are more living beings.
Oh, wait. I would say that. Wait, you said the amount of like sentient life is decreasing,
Increasing.
increasing, but we just agree that it decreases of wild animals, right? And they make up like way more than what we have on farms, right? And then humanity.
If we're taking the amount
Are you
of,
are you following?
yes, I am following, but you are not
Okay.
realizing that the amount of animals that we can sustain in a farm, in a specified area. Let's say that there is a 200 acres farm of cows, and there must be somewhere from 7,000 to 8,000 cows in that particular farm. In 200 acres of wild land, there are not going to be 8,000 cows. There are hardly going to be, uh, what, 400, 500, 1,000 similar animals.
Look, we have to look at what kind of land are we talking about. Are we considering insects? Are we how many sentient beings are in 1 acre of land in that particular land? Like I have no idea. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you
So,
don't have the idea, but you should have the common sense to understand that it is not going to be more than what the farmland has.
I mean, look, let's say, I mean, I feel like there are so many wild animals. I feel it's hard to see them, right? But they're so vast in numbers in every kilometer. I feel like it's very unlikely that on farms there would be more animals than in that 1 acre of wild land. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I would like to see evidence if you can send me. I don't know if you have, but I would like to see it.
No,
Even this is like crucial.
I genuinely thought that this was something that was common sense because
Okay,
farms
maybe I'm
are,
just ignorant and I'm not understanding.
no,
But
no,
just send me the evidence.
just try to understand it on your own, mate. In
Okay.
farms, we put a lot of animals in small spaces,
On
right?
factory farms, yeah.
And in the wild, one
Wait,
animal
what
has
kind of
not,
animals? Like chickens is like way more than cows, for example, in terms of numbers.
yes,
Yeah,
it is
okay.
it is true for any kind of animal. The wild fowl is going to have a particular region that is going to be much larger in the
What's
wild.
grunties?
What
What's the point? What are you
the
trying to
point
say?
the point is farms have more animals in a
Okay.
particular region, so they have more life. So life is increasing, and
Yeah.
along with it, suffering is increasing, but so is pleasure. So the totality is an always increasing magnitude.
Sure,
You
I mean,
cannot you cannot reduce suffering as same as you cannot reduce pleasure if you're talking about in a totality. In the totality, both suffering and pleasure are constantly increasing because more sentient lives are being born every day, and they decrease only in the cases of natural disasters.
yeah, we can. I mean, I can share my kind of point of view in this like asymmetry between pleasure and pain. It's like let's just say I'm more concerned with the suffering than I am concerned with the pleasures. Not to mention this point of well, I mean, isn't pleasure just in some cases just like alleviation of pain. Like eating feels good because you're hungry, right? Sex feels good because you're horny. Water feels good because you're thirsty, right? It seems
No,
trivial to consider
no.
the pleasures compared to the intensity of the pains.
Okay. No. Uh,
I mean, that's just my point of
these
view.
these are experiences. They hold value. A person is horny. It doesn't mean that he is suffering. I'll give you an example. Suppose that you're married and you're not feeling horny, but your wife comes to you and says, "Hey, honey, could you fuck me up like a whore? I'm feeling horny tonight." She's feeling horny, not you. Of course, you're going to oblige her and you're gonna get pleasure from that. You were
Okay.
not suffering before that. You were
I mean,
not
look,
suffering.
isn't horniness like a sense of discomfort?
No, there are a lot of people who try to enjoy edging.
And the whole point of horniness, evolutionary speaking, is to motivate you to do something. If you didn't feel uncomfortable, why would you do something, right? Like you feel hungry, you feel the uncomfortableness of being hungry, and that motivates you to go and open the fridge and eat, or whatever for animals like to hunt. That seems the
And,
case for.
and why is that? Why do you associate that with suffering?
You mean like, uh, yeah, I just explained.
No, no, you should not be associating that with suffering because
Uh,
it's not.
let's make it simpler. Do you think someone who is starving, is that a form of suffering for him?
If somebody is starving, yes, that is a form of
Yeah,
suffering.
right. It's a spectrum, right? The more hungry
Just
you
a
are,
second.
the more
No, no,
suffer
no.
you.
Just a
you
second. If you are hungry, you are not suffering. If you are starving, then you are suffering. Hunger is a natural situation.
yeah, the thing is,
That's
look, the suffering of being hungry after like 3 hours or 2 hours is obviously trivial, right? But it is a form of discomfort to motivate you to eat. That's the whole point. That's how evolution kind of, made us evolve. Those who didn't feel the discomfort didn't survive and didn't procreate. And therefore we only those who did feel that uncomfortableness actually survived because they ate and reproduced. And same goes for water and horniness, right?
okay. So, in that case, since you do not put value to pleasure, which is
No, again,
existent,
I don't think
just
I've
said
said
that.
that. It's
You
just
just
it
said
just seems
that.
so trivial compared to the suffering, right? I'm talking
It,
about the
it
intense
cannot
suffering.
be. It cannot be trivial because if pleasure and pain are codependent, if you put value on
You're
suffering,
right. You're right. And the thing is,
you
if
have to
someone's
put value.
starving and he then eats after he's been starved, that feels so good. And guess what? I put a lot of value to that, right? Because it alleviates that intense suffering. So you can say, yeah, well, I guess I do value pleasure in that case, like quite a lot. It alleviates the pain. That's the point.
No, it's not just that it alleviates the pain, it also gives you some gain.
Oh well, you're talking about like instrumental values. Well, sure. I mean, I'm just talking about the experiences in that particular
Yes,
moment.
the thing is, since you like to eat, people go through the suffering of working so that they can experience the
Yeah, yeah,
pleasure as
exactly.
well.
When people work out, it kind of feels painful, but because they want to, prevent them from being unhealthy, right? That's gonna cause them a lot of suffering and harm. People do marathons for the same reason, right? They like the thrill. They're like bored. They want to do something exciting. It
Exercise
doesn't. Yeah.
also rewards in other ways, like the experience is a good one.
Yeah, and
So
the point is, if I could achieve all the goods for marathon or job without the bad parts, of course I would choose that. If I could work out
that is that is
without the
what I'm
pain.
trying to That is what I'm trying to tell you. You
Okay.
cannot achieve pleasure without pain.
I agree.
You might get pleasure without going through any kind of pain, but someone else will have that pain.
I'm honestly, I'm not even
In,
sure
tota-
where we
in
are at.
totality,
Where we are.
because you said that you are concerned about the experiences of pain or suffering in totality, and I'm telling you that in totality,
Totality, by
pain.
totality, I just mean, well, I'll be clear. I just mean like all sentient beings throughout till the end of time, right?
Yes, and I'm saying that if you're talking about totality, every experience of pleasure is going to have a corresponding experience of pain.
Okay.
So if you're saying that you want to reduce pain, you're also
It's,
saying that you want to
yeah,
reduce pleasure.
preventing.
No, okay, you want to prevent pain, that also means you want to prevent pleasure. You take away pain and pleasure, there is no life.
Look,
So
I don't have
basically
intrinsic
you
value
can't
to
have.
preventing pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, no, that is something that you do automatically. It is
Yeah, I mean,
impossible.
sure, I prevent pleasure. That I don't see it as like I'm like, oh well, too
Okay,
bad. I mean,
sorry to cut in. Apologies for interrupting, but I think this one's sort of going to end up going round and round in circles.
okay.
Does anybody else want to say anything? I mean, I've got to step away for about, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. But does anybody else want to, mic up and challenge either of these speakers?
Yo.
Guess not, right?
Oh wait, I'm me.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm Sharpy. You're a utilitarian, right?
Again, I don't even. I don't. I would say just no. I don't know what it means really.
So you're just gonna dictate off the pain pleasure principle basically. So you're gonna say yeah, we have this act that has more pleasure than pain, therefore it's good, right?
What again? Sorry.
So we have this one act that has more pleasure than pain, therefore it's gonna be good. Do you
With
do you affirm that?
Sorry, maybe I can't hear you well. Can you say that slowly maybe? Sorry. I mean, okay, all I'm going off is I know there are sentient beings, right? And I know they have experiences, right? They feel pain, they feel pleasure. That's all. That's what appears to me. And I know it's not controversial, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm back now.
Did you hear me?
So yeah, I did hear you. So you're gonna value multiple things, right? You're gonna value sentience, you're gonna value pleasure, and you're gonna value pain, right?
Yeah, it's just about valuing their
Okay.
experiences. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say
All value is derived from that.
okay. So let's say let's say there's somebody, right? There's a rape victim. They're gonna be unconscious. They're not gonna have any experience of
No,
this rape or
I don't
anything.
like I
Um.
I'm fine with answering it, and I've answered
Yep.
all of them. But those hypotheticals can be very I don't know.
It
Just
doesn't matter if they're
go ahead.
unrealistic, right? They're still gonna be useful for deriving
Yeah,
useful
go ahead.
information on your view.
Go ahead.
So
But
I'm just gonna say
okay.
somebody's gonna get sexually assaulted, right? They're not gonna be able to find out who sexually assaulted this person. They're just gonna know that this person was sexually assaulted. This individual would never find out though. The only person that would know would be the person that was sexually assaulting them. But they would have a good time from it. So I would just ask you, do you think that would be okay?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not a deontological.
Well, I'm just asking you if you think that's okay. I already know your normative theory. You already established it.
I hope. Well, I hope I heard you clearly. you know, it's like you're asking if I could press a button to make that happen, would I press it?
No. That isn't hypothetical. I'm just asking you, what's your moral judgment on it? I'm just
Oh.
asking you, what is the moral judgment on it? Is it morally neutral? Is it morally wrong? Is it morally good?
If it doesn't affect experiences of sentient beings, then well, it's not about ethics.
Okay, so it's gonna be it's still about ethics, right? Because that's still an ethical question. So if we're
Well,
just
that's the
running,
thing.
if
The
we're
thing
just
is,
running the where I'm trying to speak. So if we're
okay,
just running the hypothetical, right? I just want full on clarity of your position now. You're gonna honestly say somebody sexually assaulting another human being is gonna be okay just based on the fact that they got more pleasure out of it than there was suffering. You're just gonna say that's okay, right?
I'll ask you. What's the context? What's the consequences of
Well,
this?
that is the
Where does it
context.
happen?
There's just gonna be more pleasure than pain. That's gonna be the context.
So like, let's see if I understand the scenario. So what's gonna happen is like one person is unconscious. Is like not feeling.
I think I've established it. I think I've established it clear enough. The
Ah,
hypothetical is just gonna
can
be
I
um
can I say that? Can I like see if I
yeah,
understand?
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there's two people, right? One is unconscious, doesn't experience a thing. The other one, sexually assaults the second person is like alleviated from his horniness, right? That's what you're saying. So
Yep.
the question is, am I fine with that or what? Or what?
Are you gonna be fine? Are you gonna be fine with it? Like, are you gonna see it as morally permissible? Like, you're not gonna believe it to be morally wrong, right?
I guess. Look, we're talking about the vacuum, right?
It doesn't necessarily have to be in a vacuum because situations like these happen in real life where people are sexually
Yeah, just to make
assaulted and they don't really
I I'm
find
not.
out. So,
I'm just gonna say
yeah, I
no.
mean,
I just need to know the
where
context.
you're gonna say it's wrong. Where I think I've laid out the context though. The context is, okay, fine. I'll give you an even better descriptive account. Let's say
Okay.
somebody's at a party or something. They've passed out drunk. Then somebody just decides to sexually assault them. Let's say start touching them while they're passed out or whatever. They're gonna wake up again. They're not gonna remember a thing. They're just gonna go home. They're just gonna go home perfectly fine. Let's say these two are the last people at the party. Let's just say this like man wait so at the end of the party so he could do this. Would you see that? I think
But
that's
the
enough
thing is,
context. Would you see
when
that
that
as
happens,
morally okay?
yeah, when that happens, it usually creates like tons of pain, right? For either
No, no, no,
participant.
no, no. It's not gonna be penetration. What's gonna happen is there's just gonna be touching,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
Let's
It
say just
doesn't matter.
foreplay. I'm just asking you if you think that's okay or not. I've already guaranteed in the hypothetical that there's gonna be no remembrance of this incident. So I don't know why you have to keep adding things to the hypothetical. If you're uncomfortable with your own position and you think rape is okay, that's fine. But I'm just
No, I'm
asking.
not.
Well,
The
not
thing
rape. It
is,
would be sexually assault. But
it's
yeah,
not
sure. Go
about
ahead.
me being. It's like I don't have a problem with that, but I know when people see that, that's what I have the problem with because they think it's absurd, right? I don't like to be seen as absurd.
So so you see your own position as absurd if you're uncomfortable with it, right? You get
It's
that, right?
it's not me. It's other people see it as absurd.
Well, but so you're dodging. You just don't want people. You just don't want other people to see what your
No,
position
I'll just
entails, right?
answer.
You're just
Yeah, I don't
hypothetical
have a
dodging.
problem with that.
Yeah. So is it
You know,
okay? Just yes or no?
yes, it is. If it,
Okay.
I am concerned with the suffering. Yeah.
So as long as yeah, we can just like grant any immoral act as long as the pleasure will outweigh the suffering, right? And if we just give you context of what's to happen, you're just gonna grant it, right? You're just going to go ahead and grant it if we give you context like this hypothetical. Any immoral action we choose, the immoral action, there's one condition for it, and that just has to be that the pain is lower than the pleasure. You're just going to accept it.
That the pain is lower than the pleasure.
Yep.
Yeah.
The pain's just gonna be lower than the pleasure. You'd expect that for almost any action. Like let's say I shoot 10 people in the face, but I like just cause the utility monster. Um well no, let's give a better hypothetical actually. Let's say I'm torturing just an individual. Let's say I'm torturing a child, right? But the thing is there's gonna be like this utility monster. who's just gonna this is an unrealistic hypothetical, I'll grant you that, but it's just gonna be a utility monster who's just watching this child get tortured and enjoy this so much to the point where it's increasing their pleasure so much, you're gonna go ahead and just say, yeah, that's completely fine.
Yeah, but I don't think any torture of a child could be less, right?
Well,
Than
in
the
the hypothetical, it's granted, right? I've just granted it in the
well,
hypothetical,
sure,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
yeah.
that's
So
the
you just
point of
say it's a fine.
hypotheticals. I get it. That's fine.
Okay.
But
So
if we're talking about real life, obviously it's like so far fetched. So like I wouldn't even consider such stuff.
yep, yep. But we can just still give real life analogy similar. To I also have another question. Like, why do you not pick up such normative positions like deontology or just virtue ethics? Like, why do they have to go to a position where
That's a good question.
more pleasure than pain just gets justified, right? Like rape is justified in this position, or sexually assault is justified in this position.
Right.
I just wanna know, like, what in the right mind would make you think, yeah, this position is definitely better than this one.
Yeah, obviously, like I'm happily to be changing my mind and be persuaded otherwise. But I'm going off. There are sentient beings who have experiences, and it
Okay,
seems like
so you're only gonna value the experience.
yeah. I'll clarify a little bit. I'll clarify it a bit more. I feel there are effective ways to prevent suffering and less effective ways, right? I would choose the effective way because that's what I value, preventing suffering for myself, and obviously I have empathy, so I'm choosing to do it for every sentient being.
So as long as they're not experiencing this this bad or whatever, well, bad to you, right? As long as they're just not experiencing first-hand suffering, you're just not gonna care about the rights violation. You're just not gonna care about all of that. You're just gonna say, yeah, pain pleasure principle, sure, sure, sexual
Yeah,
assault, okay,
and
okay.
even more than that, the thing is, it's not only me who wouldn't care; they wouldn't care as well. That's the
Uh-huh.
point. I'm only concerned
Well,
if they
what
are.
if they wait, no. What because we're basing it off the pain pleasure principle, right? They could still have the interest not to be
Well, if they would
sexually
be
assaulted,
suffering,
right?
researching stuff, right?
The thing you said, it's like it's an issue though, because they can still have the interest not to be sexually assaulted, but be sexually assaulted and never find out anyway. There's nothing contradicting or absurd about that.
Yeah, if they wouldn't know about it, then they haven't got their rights violated, right?
Where if they didn't, wait, no, that's
No, okay,
I don't think
sorry,
that's
no,
because
I'll take it back. I mean, they didn't
okay.
feel like their rights were violated.
I think the word you're looking for is there's no utility violation here, no rights violation, unless you want to say
No,
that
I
utility rights are rights or whatever, or
that's exactly
deontic
what I
rights.
said. They didn't feel that their rights were violated. That's
Okay.
the hypothetical, right?
Yeah, they're just not gonna feel as if their rights are violated when it has been violated.
Yes. That seems like a good explanation.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for me. I don't like talking to people who think rape is okay. Yeah, I just guess
That's
that's
fine.
okay.
Okay,
I
with
guess that's
that
it for
then,
me.
what we'll do, there's a few people asking to speak. I think Conan wants to say something, so this is still being recorded. I will let you know when I've stopped recording. This is being recorded as we speak. Conan, you wanted to go next. You wanted to say something or ask a question or whatever the case was. Go right ahead. Your mic.
Thank you, SD. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, super. I will be frank. I only joined after the notification was posted, so I did miss a part of the debate or the talk, whatever. But if I got you right, you believe that you have a moral obligation to stop the suffering. Is that correct?
I'm not even sure if I would say moral obligation. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna be pedantic. Yes, it's what I'm
So,
concerned with.
and you believe that life inevitably produces suffering, right?
Oh, I mean, well, sentience seems to be infused with suffering. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to ask you, how many people and animals did you kill today?
What? What?
How many people and animals did you kill today? You have
Uh,
moral obligation to stop them from suffering, right?
right. I mean, yeah.
Yes, so you are inherently immoral by standing here and wasting time instead of killing people and animals
Wait, why would I kill people and animals?
to end their suffering.
Again, okay, so I know you haven't been here for long. I'll clarify even more. So I'm concerned about preventing suffering in the most effective way, right? Killing people, that's obviously not effective for me, right? Because
It,
I would go to jail. Obviously, their families will suffer greatly. My family would suffer greatly.
you should also start killing with your family, because I believe that since you love them the most, you would prefer for them to suffer the least.
Yeah, that seems, but it seems very unreasonable for me to do.
No, it is a logical conclusion of your argument. The
Oh, to
logical
kill my own
conclusion of
family?
your argument is that you are looking for a 30-kilometer asteroid to plunge into the Earth to end all life. That is the logical conclusion of your argument.
Oh, to end on life. I mean, all I can
Yes,
say is, uh, yeah. I mean, sure. If you're gonna say like a universe with
but
no life, sure, it doesn't have any suffering. Doesn't mean
yes,
I'm gonna go ahead and just kill people.
but if you don't, then you will not be fulfilling your moral obligation.
Okay, maybe I'm not being clear enough. I want to be productive, right? I want to prevent like pain in an efficient.
And destroying all life is the most efficient way. And
Well,
since you are
that,
unable to crash an asteroid into the Earth, you need to
again,
do what you can and kill as many beings as you can.
yeah. Well, um,
Otherwise, you are not
I
fulfilling your
honestly, I'm
moral
sorry.
obligation.
It's a bit uncomfortable. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's uncomfortable for me because it makes people feel very worried. I understand. I just for the record, I have no idea why you mentioned that you record this, but I'm not planning to do anything of that sort.
No, no,
Why not?
We just
like
yeah.
I'm
Can you
recording
clarify?
just so that it gets uploaded so people can rewatch it afterwards. That's all. That's the only reason.
Wait, is it just because of what I said, or do you do it like anytime?
Oh,
No,
It is
well,
I
only
always
because
tell people when I'm recording. I
Uh,
did make it
do you
clear. If you have an
do you think?
issue, I won't publish it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you should ask for consent?
No,
yeah.
I announced
Okay.
that I'm recording. That's
Oh yeah, I
well,
know.
I don't even need to do that much. I could record it stealthily, but I
Okay,
do show people the courtesy of telling them when I'm recording.
that's fine. Okay, yeah.
To be frank, I don't believe that you would do any such thing. I simply believe you are a hypocrite.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to do philosophy, right? I feel it gets so emotional, and I hate this. I honestly hate this.
Yeah, if I understand that we all are here to do quote unquote philosophy, but if you are not comfortable with final conclusion of your argument that ending all life and you doing whatever you can to end all life,
Honestly, I'm not.
you,
I really am not comfortable. Definitely
then you
not.
should abandon your stance, right?
Yeah, and I agree. It's very
Good,
uncomfortable. I feel I
good.
I feel like I'm in danger, honestly.
We are not in danger. None of us have this stance, so you are not threat. We are not a threat to you.
No, I mean,
I mean, you
I'm
can always
thinking about it.
change your stance.
Wait,
You
can I
do know
say
that, right?
what?
I'm just trying to let you know that you can always just change your stance, right?
Yeah,
If
sure.
you think that you're wrong, because if you think that you're wrong, you can always change it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty new to this, and actually, people have linked me with stuff, and I honestly want to learn more. Maybe maybe I'm being
That's
dumb
all
right
good.
now.
No, you're fine. Like you haven't done anything
Honestly,
wrong this whole time. You've been
you
fine.
you you scared me. I feel threatened. I'm sorry, but I feel threatened sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean that might be a you problem, and I'm not trying to be rude or whatever, but
No, but I
like,
feel
go ahead. Sorry.
sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm just sharing my emotions to you.
Maybe
Right
we
after
understand.
what?
Yeah, we are rather harsh, so we have
Usually it's
very
fine
good.
for me, but honestly, the thing is, people can hold views that can seem like fucked up to people, and they can hold them, accountable with that. Obviously, I know my views aren't subscribed by the general society.
That's fine.
You,
Listen, like on a server level, you're
The
welcome
thing is,
here anytime you want. Like you've done
yeah,
absolutely nothing wrong. You can come in here whenever you want. But just to
thanks.
close
But
this recording off, does anybody else have a question or statement that they want to make? Because I want to make sure that this is closed off nicely. 5, 4, 3.
Forget North Korea.
Sarah, that doesn't count. 2. Anyone else?
Germany.
I am Sid.
Right, okay. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to stop the recording. You guys can carry on this conversation for as long as you want. You can go for 500 hours if that's what you're going to do, but the recording stops here.
okay, thank you very much, and I really enjoyed the discussion.